Salutations. I'm your host, CEO, and Chairman of the Board, Patrick Scott. On the show, where we interview regular people like you and me who are bored enough to come on the show, with the understanding that each and every one of us has a unique and interesting story. If you'd like to tell your story, we'd love to give you a seat on the board. Just email chairmanoftheboardlu@gmail.com. We record and upload weekly at LUTV News and Media online. And now, this board meeting is in session. This week's guest is a junior here at Lamar University. She's also a newlywed, navigating the realms of marriage and balancing two separate jobs. Introducing Taylor Justice. So Taylor, tell us a little bit about the newlywed status and balancing two separate jobs, the hecticness of college life. Like, how do you get it all done?
Well, first of all, it's very different from back when I was with my parents. I was closer to campus. I moved farther away, so that hour drive is so fun.
An hour drive from where?
From Kirbyville.
Kirbyville, okay.
And I now have to not only look after myself, but another person as well. And this is also around the same time that I'm now balancing two jobs. I've never had more than one. And the other one actually working with my mom, so it's very easy to work with my school schedule. Luckily, my other job is on campus, so that makes it a lot easier. And yeah, it's just trying to get it all together along with schoolwork and assignments. Trying to navigate through that is a lot different.
So the question I heard the most when I got married was, how do you feel? Is it any different?
How's married life?
Yeah, did it change for you at all? Did you feel anything different?
I think the answer I give everybody on that is, I think we're doing good if we haven't strangled each other yet, so.
I would say so. Yep. Wait a minute. No, okay. So, two jobs, what do you do?
I work with my mom as a dog groomer, and but it used to be, it's changed a lot then. We used to be open to public business, but now we just do we just do relatives, close family friends. We don't really have a clientele or open to the public type business. It's not really even a business anymore, I guess. But it is a means of earning a little bit of extra money. And I also work in the LUTV studio as a student employee, so I help make my own content. I help with productions and things like that. And luckily, it's right after my last class ends, so it works out perfectly with my schedule.
Dog grooming. Are you an animal lover? Do you like animals a lot?
I'm a huge animal lover. I've grown up with, growing up, I was known as the animal girl. My parents, I grew up in Buena, Texas. They live on an 8-mile desolate dirt road, which was the dump zone. That's where everybody dumped their
the dump zone.
The dump zone. That's where everybody would dump like animals they didn't want anymore.
No kidding.
And so you know who'd be picking them up.
Oh, that's messed up. Okay. So what would you do? You just pick them up off the side of the road and you bring them to like a shelter, or?
So usually we'd pick them up, we'd nurse them back to health if they were in really bad condition, and we would go through a process of finding a home for them. Looking for a shelter is usually a last resort. If there's any reason why we can't go ahead and find them the home ourselves. And we go through like special steps. We'll go through Facebook and go through animal groups, and then I will ask for vet references from anyone who is interested. I'll stalk their Facebook, make sure they're not asking for a whole bunch of animals in the group. I do a lot of research because I don't want the animals to go home to just anybody.
That sounds like a lot of work.
It is.
Did you get paid for this? This is just something you did out of the kindness of your heart.
This is just something we do, and I still continue to do it in Kirbyville. Same thing. I see a lot of animals. The other day, I wasn't able to catch her, but there was a dog. She was covered in fleas and ticks and scabs, and it was a really sad sight to see. I did end up getting to feed her and pet her, but she got away before I could bring her home. I haven't seen her since. But like you said, it's not a paid thing. It's, it's out of the kindness of your heart, having to use your own money to be able to take them to the vet, get them spayed or neutered if needed. Usually it is, because if somebody didn't want them, I doubt they took them to the vet. Things like that. So, and feeding them.
Well, so could you see that as a passion that you pursue as a career, or are you going to stay on more of the broadcast kind of things? And
I thought about it. I thought about being a veterinarian at one time in my life, but I just think I have a love for broadcast that cannot be replaced with anything else. But I will continue doing animal rescue as long as I can.
okay, very well. So tell us about college life. When did you get married?
May 21st of this year.
Okay, so very recently, right?
Very recent, yeah.
Were y'all together did you meet in college? Tell us the story.
So that's a funny story. We were actually only dating for 8 months before we got married. A lot of people find this to be very red flag.
When you know, you know?
But when you know, you know. I
Okay.
wasn't a person that really believed in true love before him. Before I met him, I just believed that, like, you found somebody you got along with and you just got married and learned to live life together. But he really changed my perspective on things and really showed me that there really is a thing as true love.
Okay. What do you think true love is? Can you give us some insight?
True love is somebody, I would describe it as the feeling of when we first met. He was never a stranger to me. We immediately clicked. He felt like he was somebody I knew for my entire life.
Did you get the butterflies?
Oh, yeah. I
Oh,
still
yeah.
do.
For sure.
And I really don't believe that there's anybody else made for me like this person is. And that's why we got married.
Okay. And what's married life between you? And now he's not on campus, right?
No.
So you
He's 5 years older than me. We have
Okay.
a little bit of an age gap. Yeah.
so the long distance thing, how do you balance that? Is he in
He-
Kirbyville or?
He was in Jasper and I was in Buno with my parents when we first met. That's why we moved into Kirbyville, because it's right smack dab in the middle. He still works in Jasper. I go to college in Beaumont. So we met in the middle to make things work. And
And
that's
you s-
another thing I believe about true love is that you're willing to, sacrifice for each other to make things work. That's another thing.
That's right. I mean, it takes sacrifices. It goes two ways. So I completely agree with you there. Like me and my wife, there's a lot of things that you need to just suck it up and learn to do it for the other person and give that service to one another. I think that's very important.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Well, so 2 jobs, married, and on college. So when do you graduate?
2024.
2024. And perseverance, I'm sure, is like a huge gear in your mind that's constantly turning. How do you motivate yourself to keep pushing forward through all of that?
That wasn't something that I always had. In high school, I did slack a little bit because that was the only thing I had in high school. I didn't have all these responsibilities that I do now. I've had to do a bit of growing up. Since getting married, I've had to learn how to, take care of another human being. Not take care of as in like a child, but it's mutual. And broadcast is something that I just absolutely fell in love with. And that's when those gears started turning. It's when I realized I really wanted to persevere for this career. And so that's when I had to learn how to keep up with the jobs, keep up with, not that I need 2 jobs, but it's just really nice to have the extra money for my own. If I wanted to, I could be a housewife, but I'm not made for that. I really like working, and broadcast is just something that I really want to pursue.
And you're not afraid to hustle for it. I
No.
mean, that's very important, especially nowadays when the competition is so dense. I think that the hardworking mentality goes a huge, long way, especially in the business of broadcast. So good on you. I think that's wonderful. Where do you hope to see yourself in like 10 years?
Wherever life takes me, I've always been a go with the flow person. And so far, I've let everything work out itself, and it's been going pretty good.
Any career goals that you hope that might come to fruition?
Anything broadcast, anything news. So far, I've done reporting and anchoring for LUTV. I've absolutely loved both. So I'd love to work for maybe not even local. Maybe I'd have to go somewhere else. But any kind of station I can get into, I'd love to do it.
You're keeping an open mind.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's important as well. I mean, you really never know where life's going to take you. And as long as you are able to put in the hard work, persevere, and adapt to anything life throws you, I think you'll be successful. And it sounds like you're going to be very successful in whatever you do.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. any advice for anyone that's coming into college that's having trouble maybe balancing their own life, and anything to help keep them centered, keep them grounded, help them persevere?
My favorite advice that I've heard, this actually came from my dentist, but
A dentist.
so anybody can be smart, but it's the people who stay in the books, who really pay attention and keep up with their work. Those are the people who succeed. The ones with a work ethic, not the one that gets everything handed to them, not the one that, can already be naturally smart. It's the people with the drive that are successful.
Drive. Hard work. Right on. That's the theme. I love it. All right. Well, thank you so much, Taylor, for coming in, giving us your time today.
Thank you.
And that's all the time that we have. And thank you for watching. If you would like to come on the show and tell your story, please email us at chairmanoftheboardlu@gmail.com.